Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, that looks beautiful, doesn't it? You know, I still prefer you from tap, but I love myself some Guinness. Alright. Hey guys, and welcome to That One Place Maybe. Well, my name is Sarah, and today we are going to be doing something really very awesome, something I'm excited about. We're going to be doing another review, and clearly each review I have is going to involve a little bit of drinking. But besides being one of the only beers that I can actually stand drinking, Guinness is the perfect beverage to go with a very gritty, a very dark, almost film noir type of review that we're going for. When in fact it is a TV show that we're reviewing. We are reviewing none other than, of course it has to be Batman. And not just Batman, we are reviewing Gotham. I was extremely excited to hear about Gotham when it first started. I saw all the previews. I was extremely excited to start watching it, and I didn't. Good job for me. Cheers. But the thing is, I binge watched the entire first season all in one day. I highly recommend doing that, by the way. It was fantastic and fun. But Gotham got me so excited. It was amazing. It was gritty. It was heart-pounding. It had suspense and mystery, and it just left you wanting more. And by the end of the season, I'm just like, I want to know more about the villains, the origins of some of the good guys and some of the bad guys. I want to look into the backstories of some of these people. And me being a huge Batman nerd, I will admit I don't exactly often read comics. I don't know a lot of, I don't read the comics. But I do know a lot of the comic information. I'm not, I've looked up a lot of the comic information. I'm pretty well versed, I'm not gonna say I'm a complete expert, but I'm pretty well versed in the Batman universe. I know the cartoons, I grew up with them, I know the movies, and I definitely know enough about the games. That being said, I absolutely 100% love Gotham. Now for this review, definitely spoiler alert if you haven't started watching it. So keep that in mind, but Gotham is an amazing and fantastic show. I absolutely 100% love it. I love how it is equal parts showing good guys and bad guys. The rise of good guys, the rise of the bad guys, the villains. You see the rise of Jim Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. You see the young version of Commissioner Gordon. You see him rise from detective and from this background where he was an ex-soldier, he becomes detective, he's trying to clean house in Gotham and trying to make the system right. He's trying to set right a lot of wrongs. And he's doing, the best he can in this morally ambiguous city, and he's navigating all of these backstabs and twists and turns and trying to figure out who he can really trust and who he can't trust, who's really a good guy, who's really a bad guy. And you definitely see, where the older Commissioner Gordon comes in. And it's an amazing journey to watch him go. Even through the first season, you see him, they're testing his morals the entire season. And it's fantastic. I also said there was also equal parts bad guys, and by that I mean equally as important to this series, at least in the first season, and I hope they continue to make him important, is the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot. You see his rise from this nobody in the mob business to suddenly he's playing both sides against each other. He's secretly actually working only for one side, but playing all of these different angles. And he definitely has it out for Fish Mooney. And you see him rise from this nobody, low-ranked guy, and you see him slowly, methodically working his way up into the ranks of the mob, and is slowly becoming the Penguin, the mob boss, the mobster that we know and love or hate from the comics, from the cartoon, and definitely from the games. Not so much the whole Danny DeVito style, but definitely a lot more of, you know, like Arkham. You definitely see that. And speaking of Arkham, Arkham is definitely a huge part of it, which is fantastic. By the end of it, they've reopened Arkham Asylum. Refurbished, apparently, but they've reopened the old asylum. It's been, you know, gone, and they also have a map showing Arkham City, which I hope was a little Easter egg for future references for a possible Arkham City project from the games, to where they could possibly work that in somehow. We see right off the bat, there is a lot of information hitting you at once. You get Gordon, you get the Penguin, you have Carmine Falcone, you have all of these mobsters, Fish Mooney, and it all kind of comes together. You see the Wayne murders, you get to see Bruce Wayne, and then you get to see Alfred. And I love this version of Alfred. He's this like kick-ass former British Special Services, just very gritty and very capable of handling a young Bruce Wayne who will eventually grow up to be Batman. That being said, I also, right off the bat, you get to be introduced to one of my favorite kind of villainous, kind of not, you know, characters in Batman of all time. You get to see Catwoman, the very young Selina Kyle. She's a street kid, she's off the streets, you know, she's already an accomplished pickpocket and pretty good thief. She's, you know, she's used to living the rough life. And you start to see her grow and develop. And she gets certain advice from some people, and she kind of takes it, and she doesn't really understand it now. She kind of throws it back in people's faces. But you can see where she got the idea from when she's older, from when she is the established Catwoman. And of course, right off the bat, you meet Bruce Wayne, as I said earlier, and Bruce is a very interesting character in this. He's already, you know, he lost his parents, so he's spiraling into this, like, broody kind of, I want to test my limits, I need to be strong, I gotta be stronger, you know, there's something better I could do, and he's already investigating Wayne Enterprises. Like, he is just so involved in trying to investigate what happened, who killed his parents, why was his parents killed, what does all of this tie in together, the future of the bad guys in Gotham. You get to see a very young Poison Ivy. Her dad was killed and framed by the police, so you can kind of see where she spirals a little bit out of control, but she's already kind of a creepy kid, and Selina Kyle even is afraid of her a little bit and tells Bruce so when they're out on the streets. Which is also a very interesting thing that I see that they're doing, is they're making Selina Kyle almost already a possible love interest for Bruce, already starting that kind of friendship-ish, flirtationship that they got going on when they're much older, which is really interesting, and I really want to see what they kind of planned on doing with that. That's a very interesting angle to be playing. So you got Bane, or the precursor to Bane and Venom, and you get to see the Electrocutioner, which is really interesting. He's a much older guy, so I really kind of want to see, you know, is there someone else that's going to take up the Electrocutioner's name? What's going on there? That was very interesting, and really kind of clever and little cliche that, of course, Gordon would be the only one wearing the rubber boots, so that way the electricity doesn't affect him when he's on the floor. Other cool aspect that I absolutely 100% love, that I saw a lot of, you know, there's a lot of mixed reviews kind of about this, but I kind of like what they did with it. This is the circus episode. You get to see the Flying Graysons. Yes, those Flying Graysons, the family, the parents to one Richard or Dick Grayson, who eventually becomes Robin. But you also meet a very interesting young man whose mother is killed, and he plays a grieving son very well, and at the very end his voice drops and becomes a few pitches different. All of a sudden he's kind of smiling and he's cackling madly. Which, of course, is a good nod and indication that that was the beginning of the Joker. Now, the Joker is one of those characters that is immortal, that everyone loves and hates, loves to hate, hates to love, you know. The Joker is the iconic villain in Batman for a reason. Because he's not like any of the other villains. He doesn't really have a reason for doing what he does. Chaos for chaos' sake. That's pretty much it. And it's really interesting to see how they played kind of with the origins of the Joker, because in reality, the Joker doesn't really have an origin story. Writers have tried to create one, but no one really sticks with it because you can't really pinpoint when this man became the embodiment of madness. And so there's a lot of him-hawing about this episode, especially when it comes to the Joker, or the precursor to the Joker, Jerome, which is kind of generic, but you know, I can work with it. If Jerome was his real name, of course, because no one really knows the Joker's real name. But it's not that he has mommy issues or anything. He killed his mother. But it kind of indicates that he was already planning on doing that. He had no problem doing that. It's not a parent issue, not a mommy or daddy issue. He was legitly just like, she was nagging me, so I decided to offer. This series has been fantastic so far, and I really can't wait to see what they do with the second season. Again, it's very clearly equal parts good guys, equal parts bad guys. You get to see the beginning of Gordon wanting to clean up the GCPD and the Penguin starting to take over and become the mob boss. It'd be interesting to watch this, but I was really kind of hoping to see glimpses of maybe a very young Harley Quinn, young Dr. Quinzel before all of that, because of course she's much younger than the Joker. So maybe, you know, we already saw like a very young Ivy, so I was kind of hoping to see maybe a little Harley somewhere, but hopefully maybe next season we get to see like a little tease at that. You know, especially to pay tribute to what's going on in the DC movie universe, the DC cinematic universe, where they're doing the Suicide Squad movie. It's pretty much probably the only DC movie that's going to be coming out that I'm totally excited for. Because everything else DC is doing after Batman is just not working. Marvel is kicking DC's, you know, the DC cinematic ass. And there's no getting around that. You know, Superman was okay, but it wasn't, you know, this big mega success that it should have been, and it could have done a lot more, to be honest. Superman is not supposed to be that dark, and it was pretty dark for being a Superman movie. They're doing this whole Batman versus Superman thing where they're just throwing in a lot of names, throwing in a lot of people, a lot of villains, a lot of possible sidekicks. And, you know, not a lot of people are on board with some of the casting, you know, it's really different. I'm not going to join that debate in this video because there's a lot I can say about that. But the major DC movie that I'm really looking forward to is the Suicide Squad movie. Not the Justice League movie that they're trying to greenlight or already have or whatever it is, because we know that's going to be rushed. They're trying to copy Marvel and it's just not working. Honestly, if DC would listen to their fans and look at their fan base, they would go back to how Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the animated series that our generation grew up with, you know, early 2000s, they would be sitting on a gold mine. But they're ignoring their fans. And they've been doing that for quite a while. But back to Gotham, I am so excited about this show. I can't wait for season 2. It's going to be forever to watch. I'm going to start watching it as soon as I can. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to keep my eyes out for it. And I'll do another review for it as well. Alright, well thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers with my Guinness, you know, happy March. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. And as far as Five Nights at Freddy's goes, I am aware there's a Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I am going to be finishing Five Nights 1, and I'm going to call it quits there. I watched Markiplier play it, and so much no. There's so much no. If you guys really want, I might try and play it, but, you know. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys next video.